All right, folks. We had a little error that happened the last time we tried to do this. It decided not to record my mic. So thank you, Ansted, for coming in and actually letting us know that that you couldn't hear me. I guess my mic didn't pick it up. So we're gonna do this again because that's what we do here at Formicast Podcast. When we mess up, we do it again. So yeah. All right, so we're gonna actually, um, so yeah, all right. Welcome, Formicast fans, to another episode of Formicast Podcast, your source for everything ant keeping. I am your host Durka, and with me is my co-host.
I am the colonialist, your ant-keeping wingman from across the pond, for Queen and Colony, and this time it'll go better.
Of course. And this is for all the people who decided to leave the Discord. You're welcome. Um, Stick around, folks. Don't leave. Um, we got. I know it is late for some of the crowd, some of the community. It is late, especially for you, JB. What time is it for you right now? It's like
It's just coming up to 1 a.m.
shoot. But you're what? You're currently at work, right?
Yep, I'm at work for another sort of 6 hours.
Shoot, dude.
Lovely.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a couple people leave the Discord, which I mean it's sad, but you know it happens. Come back.
Well, as they say, quality over quantity. I'm
Yes,
sure we'll
exactly.
keep the good ones.
For sure. No more reviews for the show, sadly. Guys, it really does help if you guys go on to iTunes and leave a quick 5-star review, write something in there, something funny or something, just something in general. We'll read it on the show. It really helps the show get out there more, gets it into the spotlight type of thing, helps with our charts for the show. So yeah, let's get into the weekly updates. So, for me, recently, I work at Cintas. It's a uniform company, and so Cintas has a catalog, and so I won a raffle, um, during our safety week where we had like a bunch of like safety stuff going on, and I had won like a bunch. I had like a bunch of tickets for the raffle, and so I ended up winning $50 to use in our catalog. So I'm looking through the catalog and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. It's only $50. What do I want? And then I was thinking about the show and I was like, it'd be cool if I had something with the logo of Formicast on it. Which the logo is amazing. A lot of people love it. It's probably my favorite thing about the show is the logo. It's really cool. It kind of embodies me in general. Like, the microphone. The ant is holding the microphone. That's the podcast part of it, and then the magnifying glass is, kind of references toward the research and like, you know, learning. It's a journey. Ant keeping is definitely a journey, so that's kind of what that symbolizes. But I was looking into it and I was like, okay, I want something to wear that has a logo on it so that I can kind of engage with people and talk about the show to people. And so I was like, cool, I'll go into that. And they told me they're like, yeah, you can use the $50 to to look into it. It might cost you a little bit more for the logo itself, but it's like, yeah, that's not a problem. So here soon I'll have a hat and I'll have probably a T-shirt or a hoodie or something with the Formicast logo. So it's gonna be really cool. And I'll post that on social media for you guys to see and see if you guys would be interested in getting something like that. Um,
I can't wait to see it, man.
it's gonna be sick. I'm looking into a website for merch where I can send it through to like the US and Europe especially because I know there's a lot of people in Europe listen to the show and there's a lot of people in the US and Canada. Um, I know there's a couple stores that they'll take a percentage off, which is not a big deal, but I'll be able to get the shirts and hats and stuff like that out. I didn't say this the first time we were trying to record this for those who are listening to it. We had to stop the first time trying to record this because my mic didn't pick anything up because I guess Streamlabs decided to reset to default. So if anybody in the future is planning on doing something like this, make sure you're testing your mic beforehand. So nothing I really noticed with my ants over this week, except for this morning. I had looked and saw that the two parasitic ants I had passed away, which is sad. The one that I caught when I was on vacation, that one passed away. And then the one I caught in the backyard like a week later from that, also passed away. So I got two test tubes. I'll have new homes for any new queens that I catch, which you mean probably soon here. I'm waiting for flights nearby. Haven't seen anything yet. Um, but other than that, a couple people on the AAK Discord seem like they're interested in buying some ants from me, which is pretty cool. Um, Michigan only. I gotta make sure people know that they're listening. Um, so my pogos right now are about to boom in population. So I've noticed as I'm like walking by and checking on them here and there, I've noticed that more and more of them are starting to pop up. I'm starting to notice more brood everywhere. So hopefully the setup I have for them isn't too small, and hopefully I might need to look into something else soon. Um, I'm supposed to be getting a package in the mail from Ansapor. Um, the guy that is a guy in Canada. He's planning on sending me one of his nests here soon, and I Um, might use that for my pogos. I know my Formica. I did look at her earlier. Her about a week or two, she will have two fully grown workers, which is gonna be pretty great. Um, and then I'll need to attach that to a knot rolled so that they can actually, go and forage for food. And she's got like three or four more eggs as well. So it's pretty great. Let's see. So, so there's a story that I want to tell you guys. So my housemate has been finding ants around the house, little formica workers, crawling on the walls and stuff like that. And he's been asking me. He's like, "So, do you want these?" I'm like, they're just workers. No. If there was a queen, then I'd be like, "Yeah, don't touch it." I'm like, like I definitely go for a queen, but no, I don't want any workers from outside. So I took one and I put it back outside to save it, because he wants to kill him. And so he's like, okay, well, they're invading my house. I was like, okay, just don't touch my ants. Leave my ants alone. They're in test tubes. They're good. They're not getting out. So he's been he's been doing something, and please don't hate me, guys, but he's been burning them. He's been burning these poor ants. He'll take a lighter and he'll like light the ant and it'll like shrivel up and just die. And I'd be like, dude, can you do it a little bit more humanely than that? We were sitting down at the kitchen table and we were talking about it. I'm like, and he was asking me, he's like, have you ever eaten an ant before? And I'm like, uh, not on purpose, but yeah, I have, and it tasted really gross. Because it was formica and it sprayed acid in my mouth when I was trying. It was the one I was on the vacation and I had stabbed my knee with a knife. Um, I was using the pooter that I got from Port Art, and I got a couple in my mouth for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, I was doing it right, I think. But as soon as I got them into my mouth, I noticed that they tasted really bad, and I was like, oh, I think they just tried to spray me. So that happened. So I was telling him, I was like, no, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't. And he sees a couple more and he burns them, and I'm like, dude, watch. And so I saw one in the corner of my eye, I grabbed a newspaper and swat, and I killed it instantly. He's like, dude, you just like took it out in a single shot. I'm like, yeah, dude, like that's way quicker. If you're going to kill an ant, do it humanely. First time we were recording, JB, you did say something about leaving traps out or something, right?
Yeah, you can either try and redirect the colony so you can leave like sweet traps on the edge of your property lines, or if you want to be cruel, stick it in your neighbors. Uh,
Right.
don't do that. Don't do that because they'll have a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do that and try and attract them away to another food source, or sadly, the best solution is to put down some poison, Nippon, something like I don't know what they call it over in the US or in Canada, but here it's called Nippon. That's the most famous.
Yeah.
And what happens with that is they carry that back to the queen. They feed it to the queen, and the colony is no more. It's designed to be quite a fast acting, sort of painless poison. So
Right.
I would say it's probably one of the most humane and effective methods because that way you're not just endlessly slaughtering the workers until they've got none left and the colony starves out. It's kind of just take out the queen and problem
Yeah.
solved.
So we got Ants Atlanta in the live stream right now, and he's telling me to show my ants. Kind of impossible at the moment to show my ants. We're just recording this episode. Check out my social media. Mainly, that's where I'll show most of my ants. This isn't really a setup for YouTube like others like that do theirs. Um, but hopefully soon I'll be able to do that. Looking into it, but for now, just check out TikTok. Mainly TikTok is where I'm doing most of my filming of my ant colonies. But right now, I just have my pogos that are you know
And your cat.
and the cat. Yes.
I've been following your TikTok, so yes,
Yep. The
I've
cat
seen the
is
cat.
something else. Yep. I also have the dog. Her name's Cherry. She's a blast. What's the game on my desktop? There's a lot of games on my desktop. On my desktop. Which one? Um, but yeah, let's see. So I was saying how I stepped away from Nintendo. So it's the Nintendo podcast I did with Sulier. The show is getting better and better, and it's getting bigger and bigger. As you can tell, we got a website coming up. We got an awesome interview set up, especially next week, which we'll talk about that at the end. Um, which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of stuff coming up, and I want to make sure I give 110% of my focus to this show. It was great. Thank you so much, Celia, for partnering with me to do the Tenfo. But I feel now is the time for me to step up to the plate and see where this show takes me. Been hanging with Antscapes a lot this week. Been playing a lot of Warzone. So if anybody is interested in playing Warzone with us, we tend to do that a lot this week. That was a lot of fun. And then something recently actually that I've gotten into this week is cryptocurrency. I'm not sure if anybody listening or watching does
Good.
Hood? Does Hood?
Yeah, well, he wants to get into it. He was saying
Oh,
that he wants to put money into the
yeah,
old Dogecoin.
yeah, for sure. Hood hit me up. We can definitely talk about crypto. Some good stuff. There's also a Discord set up in my Discord where you can actually talk about crypto right here. I'll even tag you Hood because I'm cool like that. All right. So yeah, we got that set up there. Um, so I put in about 2K of Dogecoin, and it went down during the SNL thing, and it's gone up quite a bit. I've made a lot of um, got a lot of good stuff coming up, a lot of gains on my initial investment. I started at like 38 cents, and I've bought more and more as it's dropped down in price more and more, and then it went back up again. So I'm Yeah, that's how it works. But we'll talk about that more. If you guys are interested in going into crypto, let me know. There's a Discord channel in our Discord for that. Um, there's a lot of there's Speaking of the Discord, there's a lot of things in there that aren't have nothing to do with actual ant keeping. I know somebody had said, "Why is there a crypto thing in your Discord when it's about ants and ant keeping?" Well, I don't want to be rude, but it's my Discord. Um, I have other stuff in there. Like I'm not sure if people realize that. But off topic, I have something about faith for those who believe in God. That's what that is. There's a support channel for those who are having a rough day. Kind of just go in there and talk about, kind of like give each other encouragement. There's an other animals channel if you want to talk about other animals. There's a music. There's a gaming channel, crypto. There's even a No Man's Sky voice channel if you want to play No Man's Sky. And
I've been
even
abandoned.
so like,
I've been roaming around No Man's Sky on my own.
oh yeah, I need to get back on No Man's Sky. Probably not tonight because I'm probably going to be watching Transformers, the second movie. We're doing a marathon, Joe and I, and his wife.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on for me this week. Other than this weekend, I have a buddy of mine getting married, so that's gonna be awesome. Um, and then
Congratulations to him.
yes, thank you. I lived with him. I lived with him for about a year, so that was pretty cool. Seeing him and his wife to be, see them start dating, and then like see them where they're at now and stuff like that. And then I'm going to visit my best friend tomorrow, which is pretty cool. And I get to go get Chinese with my other best friend tomorrow. So
Awesome.
it's a pretty crazy weekend coming up. But for those who are listening to this, that will be in the past. So ask me later how it all went.
It'll be
But
Monday when he has the hangover by the
yes,
time you see this. And
but
he's walking around town with a random baby attached to his chest.
all right. So what about you, JB? What do you got going on?
Well, sadly, when I've been away, my missus let me know that my pogo queen has passed away. So
Moment of silence.
that yeah, that sort of ends my North American species for now.
Yeah.
Um, bit cut up about it because I was holding on to her for so long. She was doing so well, but then she lost her workers and didn't. The brood just didn't hatch in time and gone.
Yeah.
So, but I plan to get more. I do. I plan to hopefully get more pogos and more honeypots when they're available again.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. I'm excited for that. I've been getting to grips with the awesome MS series nests from Wakushi, which are a 3D printed nest with a gypsum inlay, and he's been using them for like Fedole and Clarabara, and sort of like showing me the humidity that they give off and stuff like that. It's pretty perfect for the species, and with my luck with Fedole, I'm going to be putting my Fedole into the MS3, and I'm going to be putting the Clarabara into the MS5, or at least attaching it to their setup because I'm going to keep the dirt pods as well.
Yeah.
I really like what they've allowed me to achieve with the colony. So I'll be keeping that all hooked up. It's mainly just to be able to film them. I want better opportunities to film the workers, and it'll be a nice nest to film them
Nice. One sec. Hey, Wakusi, send me a nest. All right, go
in.
ahead.
I've been working on the website, so I've been doing lots of updating on there. I announced my new experiment. Let me get my words out. My new experiment, which is Project Lazius Noir. Now, I say noir. I know it's also a crime genre, but I just didn't want to use the normal term for it, and I thought I'd make it a bit more approachable. So, Project Lazius Noir, the concept for it is I'm going to be taking 30 queens, and I'm going to be putting 15 of them into batches of 3, and I'm going to be putting 15 of them as single queens, and I'm going to be sort of involving the experiment around how they found colonies through pleomyotris or pleomytris, however it's pronounced, which is where they found the colony together, but sadly it only ends up being one queen in the end. My hope with the experiment is to basically prove or disprove a better method of founding the species. So that'll be very interesting when that kicks off. I'm also preparing for my next project, which is another experiment and sort of series keeping slaver ants. Hood is designing me a special nest that I can harvest brood from, so I'm going to be keeping several other species of Formica that I can sort of harvest the brood from with as minimal disruption to the colony as possible. So my aim is only to take a small amount of pupae, so I'm not impacting the colony. I've got more colonies to spread it out between, and hopefully the design of the nest should mean that I'm not sort of disrupting the colony, so they're not too stressed and end up sort of failing. So that's sort of the goal with it all, but it'll be a journey that everyone can join me on. I've been told that my leaf cutters have started doing three fungus gardens now, so um, I'm excited to get home on Sunday and find out the craziness that's been going on with them because I've only been getting updates from my missus over the phone as she gives me little WhatsApp video calls and shows me how my ants are doing, as well as the kids. She does keep me updated on the kids, which is very important as well. So yeah, I've just been focusing on sort of the projects, getting the website in line, getting all my filming schedules sorted. So there's been lots and lots of projects that I've been filming and sort of like floating between, and like the support from everyone on all of that has been genuinely quite incredible. So thank you everyone, and carry on watching because I'm sure that a lot of what I'm doing will flood into this podcast as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Can't wait to see the turnout for that experiment. It's gonna be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to get involved with it as well and follow the same parameters, it'd be fantastic to see. I know over your side you have Lazius, Neo, and Niger, so
Yeah.
perhaps sort of seeing how they react because I'm sure they form the same way through the same sort of methods. So yeah, it'd be quite interesting to sort of replicate the experiment and get more data back from it as well. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty exciting. People in the YouTube are saying that it's kind of hard to hear me. It looks all right for me. I can turn my mic up a little bit more, but I don't want to make it too much. I tend to speak inwardly, so sometimes it's kind of hard to understand what I'm saying. But I'll do my best to speak up as much as I can. Um, I heard I heard that the last episode someone's audio was kind of low. It might have been, I don't think it was Hood. It either could have been Hood or it could have been Ryan from Antscapes. Somebody's audio wasn't that great, so I turned up JB. I turned up your audio and I turned up mine a little bit. Sounds fine now.
Fair
Okay,
play.
cool. All right. Did you have anything else there?
No, that brings me sort of up to date on everything. Like I said, there's just been so much going on. Other than the care guides,
Oh yeah.
I reached out to Ed Image. Well, I didn't reach out to him. I tagged him in the post, and I was being really cheeky about it. And I was like, "Hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Your photography is amazing." So I'm hoping he might let us have permission to use his photography, which is focused on macro photography of ants,
Hmm.
and it is really beautiful work. So you Google Ed Image photography, and you'll be able to see his work, or like he posts up on Facebook groups and stuff like that as well. It is genuinely sort of amazing work.
Yeah.
So it's just hoping to bring a sort of like professional look to it because I really want to make it a truly detailed ongoing project of care guides. Old guides will be added to as new information comes out or if people make suggestions. So, anyone who wants to get involved in it, please do. If you want to write up a care guide, then let me know. I'm happy to put it up and all credit will be given to you. So it's sort of a really cool community project, I'm hoping. And
Yeah.
also, of course, if you want to start blogging on my site as well, feel free because I'm always looking for another author.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to get involved with that. I think I said that on the first Ant Quest. Talking about
Yes,
that a little
yes,
bit. Yep, I'd be definitely down. I kind of want to get a website built here soon as well. I
yeah.
think we were talking about that
Well,
too.
I'm happy to help with that. Yeah, so anything
Yeah.
I can do to help, I've got good experience of building a few websites.
Yeah, just gotta like look into it. I know websites cost money as well, so I kind of need to see if I can afford it at the moment, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
I think mine at the moment without the store or with one item allowed to be sold on the store is
yeah,
around sort of £20 a month or something like that. I'm not sure.
yeah. I'd have to see because I was thinking about doing a Patreon to see if do like kind of like contact um some of our sponsors and be like, hey, we're doing a Patreon. Would you like to donate certain stuff for each month for a certain month? Kind of something like that. Kind of just like award the people who are deciding they want to be a patron of the show. So not only do they pay
Yeah,
monthly to support the show, but they get the rewards here and there. Kind of nice to help out that way. Um, so merch especially, the shirt that I'm currently wearing, which I know you guys can't really see it. Um, this material that I'm wearing is what I want to make the shirts for Formicast. The material is really nice, really comfy. Um, but Yeah, I'm really excited to check it out. There's a couple things I was looking at, especially for merch. This is kind of like going away from what we are going to be talking about, but I saw uh like glass glassware for drinking stuff. And it had the logo, the Formicast logo on it. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's
Um, I also saw, like the face masks, the one that you pull up on your face.
yeah.
I saw that with the logo on it. I thought that was pretty cool. So I don't know, I might actually go with that too. And I don't know, that'd be cool to.
Why not? Evolve with times, as they say, new products are emerging because of the world we're living in. Soon it'll be rebreathers,
Yeah.
and you'll have tagged oxygen machines because we've sadly messed up the planet a bit.
Right. But it is what it is. Um,
Sadly, we all work for the colony, and that colony is where we're born. So
for sure. All right, Ansel, have a good night. We'll see you around later. So yeah,
sleep well, bud.
before we get into the actual ants from South America, we got this little video. All right, thank you so much, Ants Belgium, for making that video. If anybody is interested in sponsoring the show, let me know in JB at formacastpodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on all our social media. And we will definitely be interested in partnering with you guys to bring videos or stuff like that. Especially when we make a website, we're gonna have a special area for partners for the website, links and all that stuff. So we have some awesome ant videos and some other stuff here for South America. First one we got is a video about army ants, which is pretty cool. I'm going to get this over here. The video quality wasn't that good the first time around, so hopefully it's improved since then. Those amazing ads. Police.
I love YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
If you just check
Army
the
ants.
settings, because sometimes it drops it down to 480p. Sometimes I don't know why.
Yeah, let me see.
It's just a little coggy. Yeah, it's dropped it down. Oh no, it only comes in horrible quality.
That's retarded. It didn't
Yeah,
seem that bad. The first time that I played it before we did the show, it didn't look bad. But
What they lack in size, they make up for by overwhelming numbers. An army like this can be 1 million strong. These biting, stinging hordes are the scourge of the forest floor. Anything small in their path must run, fly,
as I
or
said last
die.
time, the locals actually use this species as stitches.
yeah,
So if they cut
Measured by
themselves
the weight
because
of
of their
prey they
long
consume,
mandibles,
these little
they
insects have
use
as
them
great
to
an impact
close
on the
the
forest
wound,
as any jaguar
and then
or
they
Irani
pluck off the
hunter.
head so it stays shut, and that keeps their wound closed and able to heal.
yeah. No, I think I recall my dad telling me that too. Um, that the natives in Brazil do that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Across South America,
South America.
different
Yeah,
people do it.
yeah. That's pretty crazy. Something I just realized about the music is I don't know if you guys know what capoeira is. Do you know what capoeira is?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the type of music that they use for capoeira. It's for those listening who don't know what capoeira is, it's a Brazilian dance martial arts. So the slaves in Brazil during slavery and back in like the 1800s, um, what they would do is they would quote unquote dance. Definitely check it out. Check out some videos on it and stuff and see. But what they would do is they would dance, and there would be like different like kick moves that they would do, and it's kind of like dance, and that's the type of music that they would use. So when I started watching this video for the first time, or watching this, I'd be like, oh, that's music for capoeira. So my one of my dad's uncles is a teacher of capoeira, one of the largest in the world actually, which is pretty crazy.
That is cool.
Oh yeah.
And it's not to be mistaken with caipirinha, which is my favorite drink. Some crushed ice, cachaças, sugar cane, and
Testosterone.
lime.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so good.
This species is such an absolutely incredible form.
But a few
What
creatures
I
can
also
outwit
mentioned is,
the
I
lethal
don't know if
horde.
they do it in South America, but in Africa,
Yeah.
they use the species of army ants to drive out pests from their crops. So they herd them into where the crops are. So they flood through the crops and remove all the pests.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, the video quality isn't that great whatsoever.
Fortunately,
Army ants are blind and need movement to trigger
Look at
their
those
attack.
mandibles.
By keeping
Huge.
still, this grasshopper
they are
becomes
incredible, aren't
invisible
they?
to them.
Oh yeah.
If they grab you and you're the size of that cricket, it's over.
A
Yep.
spider's life literally hangs by a thread. But for most small things, there's no escape. This may look like an undisciplined rabble, but in fact, it's a highly organized military machine. Ants communicate by scent, sound, and touch. They come together to pass on information. These are soldiers.
Look. Okay. Look at that mandible. That thing is huge.
It almost looks like an inch long.
Yeah, that is crazy. I think that's like the best shot of this whole video because it's all blurry.
But their massive
Yeah.
jaws are defensive weapons. The real killers are the smaller workers, which sting their prey to death.
Mhm.
Every morning, the ants march out of camp to forage. Columns of workers lay down scent
It's
trails for
terrible. It
others to
makes me want
follow.
to keep a colony.
If a scouting party
What's that?
I said it's terrible. It makes me want to keep a colony, but
Oh man.
I'd have to have my own little mini zoo and a special area of forest built for them.
Yeah, you'd have to have like a emergency lockup room just to keep these ants in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like bulletproof like stainless steel walls where they can't get out.
A little moat around them with loads of aquatic creatures to eat any that try.
Yeah, that's crazy.
finds food, it sends chemical signals down the line to summon reinforcements. Like any army, this one has its camp followers. Insects trying to escape the ants are flushed into the waiting mouths of ant birds. But it's a risky way to make a living. As few as 4 ant stings can kill a small bird like this.
That must be some pretty potent stings. 4 of them to kill a small bird.
Yeah.
Ants and birds between them can clear a patch of forest floor of almost all invertebrate life. But any empty space is soon recolonized.
Yeah. That video wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. The first time I watched it, it was good. But so speaking of worst ants in the world, I found this article on Argentine ants. So first time around, I did read a lot of the actual article. So I'm gonna go over this again. Here we go. So I battled. Okay, so this is from Annalie Newitz. So invasive supercolony menace. Meet the worst ants in the world. Argentine ants have invaded every continent in just 1 century. Can they be stopped? I battled ants for about a year before I started noticing interesting patterns in their behavior. My military tactics against the invaders were those of a uh, typical San Francisco eco nerd. I used non-toxic spray made with orange peels to repel them. It actually works pretty well, quote unquote, and placed low toxin poison sugar bait traps close to cracks they used to enter the house. These tiny brown insects seemed unstoppable. They would swarm onto their targets seemingly out of nowhere. I'd put out my cat's food, come back in 45 minutes, and find a thick, wiggling line of ants moving between the crack in the wall and their kibble target. If I blocked their trail with poison, they poured out of a different crack next to the kitchen counter, or in the base of the stairs, or in my bathroom. By necessity, I spend um, a lot of time watching these tireless insects overcoming every obstacle, and during all that reconnaissance, I started to see things that made me wonder who these ants really were. As my neighbors watered the plants in our backyard, I watched ants bowling out of cracks in the brick patio, racing to escape the onrushing tides. Looking more closely, I discovered they were carrying tiny white bundles in their mandibles. I recognized eggs and larvae. The ants were rescuing their brood from a flood apocalypse caused by oblivious humans. Later, they surveilling a trail of ants marching across my kitchen counter. I spotted one that was enormous, twice as big as a typical worker, with elongated, bullet-shaped abdomen. I was watching a queen marching through my kitchen, and you did not catch it. Um, the experiments gave me chills. There was something genuinely awe-inspiring about seeing a queen in person. I had never heard of ant queens wandering around in the open. I guess I thought they were egg-laying machines like the queen in Aliens. I never left the deepest confines of the ant nest. I snapped a picture and started comparing it with other online images of California queen ants and quickly figured out this queen was a member of Linapitha humili. Uh, that's my best pronunciation of that. How do you pronounce that?
Lynette Pathema Humal, that's how I say it, but
Okay.
I don't know if that's
So
correct.
there, we have two different pronunciations of that species, known colloquially as the Argentine ant, though they also
Yes.
came from Brazil and elsewhere in South America. Now I
Yeah,
understood
they're,
the. Go ahead.
go on. I was going to say that they're one of the species that has actually given South America such a bad rap for producing highly invasive species.
Yeah.
So,
Now I
where
understood.
they,
Now I understand the magnitude of my problem. One of the world's most invasive ant species has taken up my residence in my house. Um, it
and
isn't.
560 miles to California as well.
Yeah. Um, this isn't a stereotypical ant with one queen and many workers laboring a single nest. Argentine ants have multiple queens per colony. They have as many as 300 queens per 1,000 workers. This makes them virtuously impossible to kill with poison traps, which work on the principle that workers carry the tasty toxins back to the queen, whose death destroys the colony. When you have a lot of queens, that's not an effective strategy. Argentine ants usually, in another way too, don't build one large nest with lots of tunnels and rooms. Instead, they live in constantly shifting networks and temporarily shallow nests that change from day to day. Their ability to move quickly in large groups is what helped them swarm on my cat's food so fast. And that's why they're able to pack up their eggs and flee the flood in my backyard like well-trained disaster workers. Even when they aren't running away from human gardeners, they move their eggs between nests all the time. Queens and workers are used to transitioning from nest to nest, rarely staying put for long. Um, Despite their name, Argentine ants now live in the United States with more than 120 ant generations. That is a long, long time. Um,
Hmm.
I wonder what the difference is between one human generation and one ant generation. Uh,
I suppose it would be the cycle. It's got to be, no, it can't just be the cycle. It must be the cycle of nuptial flights
huh,
because they can't count it by worker generation
yeah,
because that's kind of like a smaller species at the time. I'd imagine it's by nuptial flight, by generational
yeah,
queens.
probably. Roughly a year long due to their short lifespans. It's been a struggle. The environment of North America is dramatically different from the tropical ecosystems where these ants originally evolved. These ants had to uh, come to urban species to survive, living almost exclusively in cities and agricultural areas where plumbing and irrigation provide the water they desperately need. Entirely thanks to humans, Argentine ants have now become the dominant ant species in California cities. Driven out dozens of native species today, they actually have invaded most major landmasses in the world, including North America, Europe, Australia, Africa, Asia, and quite a few islands. How big is the territory in California
In your in California, they've claimed 560 miles.
and in Europe?
But to put that into perspective, in Europe, which is their largest of all five super colonies, they've claimed 3,700 miles, which is the equivalent of about three different European countries, which they've claimed as their own territory as one single superorganism.
Is there a oh yeah, Argentina ants super colony? Can you actually see where it's at?
Um, don't know. They do. Yeah, I was going to say there is a see that one there with the dots
This
that
one?
tracks the entire coastal because they've stayed coastal in Europe. So if you follow that all the way around,
This one right here?
I also reference these in my no. It's just it's the other map.
This one?
I don't know if that's the one. It's the we see with the red lines. It's got an orange, the orange landmass. Yeah, that's the one that I looked at.
Okay.
I think this is the one that I referenced when I did my Planet Ants episode 3, where I mentioned um
Yeah,
this species particularly.
that's pretty crazy. Yeah, you can see introduced
Yeah,
range.
look, the whole of Southern Europe. If you look at that, that's like basically they achieved what Hitler couldn't.
Yeah, I wish the picture was a little bit bigger, but it's pretty
Yeah, it's
crazy.
unfortunate that it's so small,
Yeah,
but you can see all the lands that they've become invasive on. Yet
yeah,
within their natural habitat, they still remain to act as normal and are more offensive and don't work together. But as they've gone invasive, they've adapted a completely different strategy to
yeah.
put them a step ahead of 90% of the species out there, really.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um,
It was
let's.
actually interesting to note, thinking about it, is the winter ant episode that we did to find out that the winter ants are able to adapt some kind of poison which fights off the Argentine ants. So they're actually one of the only native species that are successfully surviving against their invasion.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good, good remembering that because I totally forgot about that part. But yeah, which I haven't found any winter ants yet, so I think I might have to wait until fall. But my main want right now is carpenter ants. I really want some. Um, but let's see. Um, Interesting. Let's see. These invaders have also developed social behavior that's distinctly different from their native relatives back in South America. They become adapt to living in cities, creating nest networks that weave in and out from human houses, drinking water from water pipes that service their reluctant human neighbors. They've also become more peaceful, or at least less warlike, in their native ranges. Argentine ant colonies battle each other at the edges of their colonies. In the rest of the world, this behavior is rare. Argentine ants abroad from these different colonies treat each other like cousins, fighting very rarely, with city ammonites available everywhere and no enemies at the gates. Argentine ants are currently thriving. The Argentine ant process across the globe echoes humanity's own, staring at my uninvited house guests had indirectly drawn me into one of the most fascinating stories of species invasion in recent history. So there is way more to this article, but unfortunately we do not have the time for me to read this whole entire thing. So if you're interested in checking it out, definitely check it out. The link will be in the show notes. So awesome. Argentine ants. All right. Um, we do have two other articles. Both of them are about ants in Brazil, since I lived there for about 6 years. That's the experience I have when it comes to ants in South America, which isn't very much. I do remember my stepbrother and stepsister getting stung by some type of ant. I'm not sure if it was a fire ant or if it was Solenopsis, if it was an atta. I don't remember which species. If it was a bullet ant, it could have been a bullet ant. Um,
Did
but
you know that South American tribes use bullet ants into mittens, and they basically have to put their hands in the mittens of bullet ants and get stung, and it's
yes,
a rite of passage to manhood. It's so
we
that they understand pain and suffering, which I thought was quite interesting.
yeah, which actually that's the last video we have is actually that. So it'd be cool.
Oh, that's pretty epic.
Yeah,
Can't wait
it
to
is.
see that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, so Brazilian ants build unusual trap for bugs. So here is a picture for those who are listening. Go to the YouTube channel and check out. The picture is so it's an article. The article will be in the show notes. Basically, it is a bunch of leaves and there's a bunch of feathers around it, and then there's a hole. This is a Fidoli Octopus Ant Nest. Entrance is surrounded by feathers. Fallen feathers may appear innocuous, but bugs in tropical Brazilian savanna should think twice about approaching them. New research suggests Fidoli Octopus ants sometimes place feathers around their underground nest entrance um, as bait for other creatures, which then tumble in. This behavior is unusual except for ants using lures or traps rather than actively hunting down their prey. Ignacio Gomez, an ecologist at the Federal University of Viçosa in Brazil, have never seen any description of scientific studies of ants building traps. He first noticed feathers around the ant nest entrances in park cities and on his college campus, and he found two hypotheses in scientific literature. The feathers could collect morning dew in dry areas as they would act as lures. Gomez is a lead author in the August study in ecological entomology that experimentally tests both ideas. The researchers provide a ready supply of wet cotton balls, but found the ants still collected feathers, suggested they were not being used for water, and the team found that artificial traps and feathers around them captured the wandering arthropods than those without. So that is pretty cool. It's another pretty long. Oh, it's not a long article. Never mind. Gomez said that once prey such as mites, springtails, and other species of ants fall in, the nest entrance soft walls make it hard for them to climb out, and inhabitants quickly subdue them. Um, Helen McInerney, a biologist at Harvard University who was not involved in Gomez research, says the study is really cool and well done. It's a very charismatic, conspicuous behavior. Uh, McCurry adds, there are certainly a few examples of ants acquiring food without leaving their nest. Occasionally wonders why prey are attracted to the feathers in the first place. Gomez suggests smell and shape that potential draws. In general, soil insects are very curious. That's why pitfall traps are so effective, Gomez says. Scientists use similar traps to capture wild specimens. I didn't know that. Fidoli octopus forage alone or in groups like other ant species. Gomez once saw them take down a praying mantis, but he said they most likely supplement hunting with the feathers traps to get through long, dry seasons with scarab prey. So yeah, Brazil um, tends to have like rainy season, and they tend to have a lot of like drought season where it gets really like where I lived in Brazil, it got really rainy sometimes, and there was a period of time it was just like it got super hot and dry all the time. So I can understand doing that. So winter doesn't really exist in Brazil or in South America. Well, it kind of does, but not
Across
really.
the tropics, really.
Yeah. I mean, there is snow in like the very, very, very south tip of South America, but that's about it. Um, but it's like it's barely anything, to be honest. I've never actually seen snow in Brazil, but when I, came back to the US after living there for so long, it's like kind of miss the snow, and then like your body kind of adapts to the climate differently. So when I got
Yeah.
back and it got to like cold, like dry winter, my skin like went insane. It felt like I had like ants crawling all over my body because of how itchy it got.
Horrible.
It was really bad. Um, See, the second time around recording an episode is always better because you always remember other things. Um, But yeah, so we have that. And so there is another article I have here that I'm going to show
Before we
us.
move on,
Yeah, before we move
I
on.
was going to say the hunting strategy reminds me of the
Hmm.
antlion, which I mentioned previously,
Hmm.
which is quite an interesting insect that uses the
Yes.
same sort of funnel trap,
Yep.
and it's a pretty mean beastie.
Yeah. The show is not um sponsored by the tire company. That is Bell Tire is definitely not sponsoring this. Um all right,
There's a
so
YouTube ad that is.
right, it's a YouTube ad. So yeah, for those who are listening, there is a video of a ant lion. Kind of what JB was saying, that ant reminds him of this insect. It's pretty cool. So check this out.
A sandy wasteland. Its savage ruler lies hidden beneath the sand. Its presence revealed only by catapulted corpses. The grisly remains of discarded victims. Empty shells of insects, murdered and tossed aside. But by what? By this, the antlion, the spawn of the
It's just such a
netherworld.
horrific looking beastie, isn't it?
This is its lair.
It looks like it belongs in an Aliens
Digging
film.
backwards in the sand, the antlion creates a funnel-shaped burrow. Then, it buries itself to lie in wait for its next victim. The ants have no idea that a trap lies below. A firebug loses its grip on the sand and slips down the funnel into waiting jaws. Once he pulls his catch into the sand, the antlion injects it with poison and digestive enzymes and sucks out its liquefied guts. Then, it throws the empty bug shell up, and away. If the victims don't slide down on their own, the antlion launches an assault.
I feel so bad for his confidence as well. Oh, stream's unavailable.
Struggling only makes matters worse.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
been suspended.
The stream is suspended?
Hmm.
That's weird. It says it's still gone.
On my screen it says stream unavailable, stream suspended for policy violation.
Whoa. That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Huh. Well, we can still record. That's fine. I'll look into it later.
Okay.
Yep. Which
Finally, the assassin reaches up to make the kill, injecting its toxic cocktail. Resistance is futile. Once you've fallen into the lion's den, there's only one way for this horror story to end.
yeah, so well the audio will be in there. I don't know why it I had no idea. We're gonna have to figure that out later. But yeah. So we got a photo uh, sorry, I'm like trying to figure out what the issue was and I can't read now. So there's a couple different landscapes in South America, well, in South America, especially in Brazil. We're going to cover mainly about Brazil. So in Belo Horizonte, there's a landscape, huge steppe called the Cerrado. It basically looks like the Sahara from Africa, which is pretty cool. So here's a picture of it, um, which no one can really see it right now, but um, kind of reminds me of the Sahara. But there is a couple different species. There's a Ectomoma species that licks the sweet extra floral nectar juice from different plants, which is pretty exciting to see that. Um, there's a couple different Campanata species as well. Um, shoot, it's kind of hard now to
Yeah, YouTube has literally just sabotaged the show.
yeah, it literally just sabotaged the whole show. Um, which I don't know what the deal is. Um, I'm kind of curious to kind of like,
I am too, to understand what's happened here. I don't really.
oh,
I've
what?
never seen it happen before.
Um, well, it looks like it's live again. Um, uh, Ants Atlanta, can you can you hear us? Is it working?
I don't know. I've asked them if they can hear us, but
Because it
I mean,
looks
it's
like
not playing.
it's. Is it not playing for you? Because
No.
it's showing me that it's showing everything.
Oh, now it's playing for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
here we go. I'm back.
yeah. I don't understand what that was for. YouTube, get your act together. It's just about ants. That's all we're doing. Um, no, this is not for kids. I don't know. That was weird. Maybe it's because I said this is not a Bell Tire sponsored video. I don't know, but it's working. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. I guess YouTube are watching the stream. At least that's nice to know.
yeah. Um, but yeah. Um, I don't know where I'm going with
YouTube sub
this.
to us.
Um, so yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this article now because that whole entire thing just like since YouTube just sabotaged it, it kind of just threw me off. But there's a couple
We
different
was talking about a specific region of Brazil, which looks like the Sahara.
yeah. So
Um,
there's the this picture of the Sahara. That's what it looks like. Looks like the Sahara. Um, it's a big arid region, basically like um, it's Brazil's western coast, which is pretty crazy. It looks like the Sahara, and
also looks a lot like South Africa.
yeah. A lot of those regions kind of look alike. But there's some pictures. Here's a picture of a Ectomoma species that likes the sweet extra floral nectar juice. I love the like quality of these pictures. It's pretty great.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah. So there's that. Um, and here's a Camponotus blandus. I think that's what it is. Camponotus blandus. Um, during noon on hot floors, and they have dense golden uh, pubescence all over their body, which perhaps serves more like dermatology sunray reflection. These ants can also be seen at nectarites, but we opened up a termite nest. They did not take long to notice, but subsequently brought termites into their earth nest at a surprising speed. So there's some Camponotus in South America. Oh,
It's interesting. Campanotas are quite specialist hunters, actually.
yeah,
They tend to float between sort of dipterans, which are the family of flies, and termites are quite a favorite of theirs as well.
yeah. I really like Camponotus. However, less common Camponotus ant is the Camponotus laedigni, which has one of the most beautiful red coloration that I've ever seen in an ant. Sometimes I would observe a single worker slowly and carefully moving on the nest floor, and how I got scared, stopped to hide or under some leaves. There's a picture of one. Yeah, they are pretty cool
It's
looking.
very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of reminds me a little bit of Nicobarensis, actually.
Hmm.
Just they're a little bit less red, more brown, but they're an orangey kind of brown.
Yeah. And here's another one, Camponotus laedigni. Takes care of a plant hopper, which provides honeydew. That's pretty cool. During a lunch break, a piece of cheese turned out to be exceptionally attractive towards a Ectomoma species, the region of Bellarache. It is famous for its delicious cheese, so I was not surprised that the ants went crazy for a milk product. That's correct. Um, we observed a column of golden Camponotus moths walking together. This type of foraging can be seen in several Camponotus species. It's always fun to watch. In this case, a group of 5 minor workers was accompanied by a major worker following along. The detail of that picture. Um,
Yeah, they look so much more like Polyacus almost,
yeah,
that type of Campanotus. But they're closely related, I believe.
yeah. And then besides insects and honeydew, a major nutritional effect source of for ants in the Cerrado are seeds. There are a number of so-called granaceous ants that specialize in integrating oil and protein-rich plant seeds into their diet. In the sandy area, we encountered my absolute joy, a species of Pogonomyrmex. Sorry, it's called Pogos. I always butcher the name, even if it's a species I own. Um, I have never seen this species. I have never seen this genus in the wild before, but heard much about them. Apparently, there was a competition going on as we observed a group of Fidoli attacking a pogo. Uh, yeah, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Pogonomyrmex CF Nigali worker.
Yep.
Perhaps these Fidoli were also after the seeds. That's a picture of the Fidoli attacking, or vice versa. Yeah, can't tell where the seed is at, but it's pretty cool. Um, yeah,
Perhaps it's out of shot.
yeah, possibly. But and some other cool ants. Um, how do you pronounce that?
Oh, Pseudomymex
Certimyrmex.
chrysalis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
widespread all across the neotropics. Two morphs are found here in the Cerrado. One is typical black and red colored, and the other one is which is completely black. The
Wow.
black one might
Such
be,
an interesting looking ant.
yeah. Different species that has behaved quite differently when foraging. It has compressed its body into a weird shape, which made it look similar to a small Camponotus. Also, their queen was very worker-like with reduced wing muscular. Interestingly, this is another lookalike association known in the Cerrado, that of Camponotus blandus and Pseudomyrmex termatus. God, these names. But those are some interesting looking ants for sure. Shoot. That must be a
I feel
queen,
like
right?
getting into ants, you almost have to study Latin just
Yeah,
to be able to pronounce everything.
right. Just tell all new ant keepers, be like, all right, guys, not only do you need to learn how to set up a test tube setup and what you need to get for your ants, but you need to learn Latin.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that's part of the experience, right? Um, Last but not least, the true highlight of the Cerrado's incredible diverse of turtle ants. Um, Cephalotus. Um, I've heard of these ants. I think these are the ones that like get their heads stuck in the.
Yeah, they have the really weird shaped heads. But the funny thing that I found out, yeah,
Hmm,
each individual ant has a specialist molded head
hmm,
fit a specific door within the colony.
hmm,
So only that one ant can basically block that door. And if that ant fails, then they all kind of like pile in and try to create a shield wall.
hmm. That's really cool. We're
Uh,
gonna have to do
yeah,
a an episode on this genus then.
they're a very interesting and sort of wacky species.
Yeah, they're a cool looking species too.
Yeah, they are.
Part two, sand dunes of Florianopolis. I've been there actually, um, but not to that specific area. So here's some more ants of that region. So Acromix Stratus, which is a quite unique looking
Uh,
to.
it's funny that that species is currently up for sale in the UK.
Oh, is it?
Acromix Stratus. Yeah, Ants UK. Ants HQ, sorry. Ants HQ have them.
Nice. You guys are so lucky. You can get ants from all across the world.
Yeah, we are incredibly lucky.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. I wish the U.S. would be a little bit more lenient, but we got strict laws where you can't ship ants across state lines, but it still happens.
Yeah,
Um,
it is unfortunate.
yeah.
Actually, Pogono Mimics you can ship across state lines, or at least most state lines, I
Mhm.
believe now.
Yep. 48 Continental. Yep.
Yep.
That's where I got mine. I got mine from
But
THA.
at least it's a good advancement for the hobby
Mhm.
because it allows people to keep them. But it also it's because they discovered the benefits of the species to soil health.
Yep.
So they actually want to encourage this species to be more widespread.
For sure. Um, Trachymyrmex is the tiny uh, other
I
sand
want them
dune.
so bad.
I did a episode on them already, but they're really cool too. So there's some pictures of them. And then the seed harvesting Pogomyrmex Nagali, which is also gracefully accepted some sugar water as bait. So I got Pogomyrmex occidentalis, which is the western harvester ant,
Hmm.
um, and then some Brachymermex is the color coloration. These are the blind ants, right? Are they blind?
I'm not sure if they are.
Dune specialist, Brachymermex with the color black coloration. And some other ants. Another Camponotus, rufupes.
Hmm.
They build large, distinct nests in lower shrubs with a lot of plant material, mostly dried grasses. Man, Camponotus. I love Camponotus. Some more Camponotus. Um, yeah, there's a lot of Atlantic rainforest as well. So chromatic aster species live out in the rainforest. Ooh. I have some Chromatogaster, but they're the ones that live in North America.
Yeah, I've always toyed with getting Chromatogaster, but I've not actually bit the bullet.
Yeah. Which I heard they're like crazy growing, aren't they?
They can be. I mean, a few of my friends keep them,
Yeah.
and in just a few months, the colonies did tend to explode.
Yeah. Which I got 4 queens, and each of them have like a good amount of brood already. I'm just waiting for their first workers.
Nice.
So I'm planning on selling most of my ants that I am raising. I have 12 Lasius neonigers and 4 Chromatogaster. I'm probably end up keeping one of each for myself and sell the rest.
That's cool.
Yeah. Especially for people that are looking at getting into the hobby. Michigan only.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a permit. I can't ship across state lines. Let's see. So yeah, there's a lot of different cool ants as well. So yeah, this article will be in the show notes for those who want to check out the rest of it. There is quite a others in here as well, as you can see on the YouTube channel. But definitely check it out. Show notes, it will have the link. And then the last thing we have is this video, which is called the Bullet Ant Dance, which is actually really cool. Not that, sorry. Discover. This show is not sponsored by Discover. All right. So.
We were in the Brazilian Amazon, and Hamish had just been selected by the chief to take part in a coming-of-age ritual that involved placing your hands inside gloves full of ants.
They are massive.
The ants, though, possess the most painful sting of any animal on the entire planet.
Take off my ring as well.
Haim was obviously still disappointed he'd been chosen by the chief.
My wedding ring from when I married my wife and then made a child with her as a man. Yep.
Yeah.
Did he consider the child aspect?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Sure.
Okay.
Then the chief tied ceremonial shells around my leg for some reason.
It's a garter. He's giving me a bride's garter. And the ritual's finished. I didn't have to do the ants.
No, you did.
It's like really evil oven mitts.
And shake your leg. Shake your leg.
Okay.
Shake your leg. Shake your leg.
I'm actually a bit nervous for him now.
I leant forward and presented my hands.
Oh, God.
Could I put these gloves on and keep my cool in front of the tribe?
Have mercy.
Obviously not. Jeez, with a couple of deep breaths, though, I felt like I'd be back to normal in no time.
Can I get you a Panadol? A Nurofen Plus?
What do I do? What do I do?
You have to dance to release the pain, Hamish.
Okay, can we dance then?
Jeez, I was going to be surprised if this helped.
Seems like a very strange directive from the doctor, isn't it? Just dance.
And evidently, it didn't.
Hang in there, buddy. Hang in there.
Because Haim soon commenced what we now know as the 6 stages of sting pain.
Shrieking.
Refusal to dance.
You have to dance.
I don't want to dance. This is the last time I've ever felt like dancing.
Screaming / and or swearing.
Sweating.
Some shaking.
Biting stick requests. Problem was, this went on for an hour, relentlessly.
Cold water?
Yeah.
How's that?
I need ice.
Yeah, I'll get you ice. I'll get you ice.
Toxin from the ants generates the worst pain a human is capable of experiencing. There was nothing I could do to help him, so I essentially stood by in shock at the reaction.
It's just not stopping.
We later found out that not only do these ants sting multiple times a second, but they release a pheromone telling any nearby ants to also sting.
Oh, dear.
Haim had been stung 100 times over.
Lie down.
By the 2-hour mark, Hamish had collapsed with exhaustion, but it was clear the pain hadn't receded at all. And the doctor offered up a suggestion.
Let's go to hospital.
Oh, a bit of a worrywart there, Doc, if you ask me.
Obrigado.
No, seriously, thank you, though.
We made the hour-long trip back to the closest hospital where luckily the emergency doctors were able to treat Haim and I was able to find a seat.
Hola. Good one not to get. Thank you, Chief.
8 hours after the stinging, I was finally able to talk to my friend again.
How are you feeling?
I think I prefer being stung by this big white wasp.
Morphine.
Yeah, he's a good wasp. That was unbelievable.
You look a lot like a man now, though, just so you know.
I grew an extra testicle.
The good news is, even though they felt like they'd been busted up by hammers, at midnight, I was able to get out of hospital and take my hands to Macca's.
Alright, so that that is something else for sure. Holy crap.
I hate to say it, but he did not take that well, did he?
No, he did not take that well. I saw other videos of this, but this is the one I was like, oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, that guy had to be the biggest wuss about it that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but it's whatever.
The-
So you were
That one there on Discovery, is that the actual tribe doing it? Because I must say, when they do it, it is impressive. Their
Yeah.
pain tolerance is incredible. They
Yeah.
barely even flinch, and they have to keep the mittens on as well.
Yeah, they have to keep it on. So yeah, for those who are listening or watching this, definitely check out some other videos of it. It's pretty cool. Man,
Doesn't that guy, I can't remember his name, I can't think what he is, but he goes around getting stung by all the different species. He does it as well, and I think he wusses out, but he always overreacts when he gets stung. Can't think of what his name is.
yeah, I don't remember either. It's not Bear Wilds, is it? Bear Grylls or whatever his name is.
No, not Bear Grylls,
No, okay.
but it's something like something wild, so that
Oh,
that
okay.
kind of rings a bell.
Yeah. I
But
don't
no,
know. But cool. So
Bear Grylls a champ, though.
yeah, he is a champ. So yeah, that was a pretty weird episode so far. The first time around, it didn't record my audio, so we had to restart, and then like halfway through, YouTube decided to kind of like cut us short.
Punish us.
Yeah, punish us for I don't know why. So
YouTube, we will forgive you if you sub to us.
right. YouTube subs to the channels. Like, how does YouTube sub to a channel? But I don't know.
Just
They
put us on the algorithm, more subs.
yeah.
You can do it, YouTube.
It was probably something that we were streaming and it probably dinged it for some like song or something. I'll probably get a copyright claim or something and I'll have to like remove that audio or I don't know. It's whatever. It's probably the music at the beginning or like
Possibly, or the advert.
or the ad. I don't know what it was, but it is what it is.
YouTube getting upset because they're not getting the money from the advert showing.
Right. Which I mean, I'm not getting any money from that either. Anything else we want to touch on when it comes to ants from South America?
Of course, you have the Solenopsis invicta, probably one of the most famous ants to come out of South America. Another highly invasive species, just like the Argentine ant.
Yeah.
I won't try to pronounce the Latin word because I think we've butchered its name enough.
Right.
But yeah, certainly they're epic. I've got their evolved cousins, as they say. I keep the Solenopsis geminata, which are actually just hybrids of Solenopsis invicta. And the variations, there's actually variations of geminata, and that's only because of which different types of Solenopsis that they've actually become a hybrid with. So you have Solenopsis richteri, which I think are the all black ones. So you have a geminata variant of that, and then you have sort of Solenopsis invicta, which is mixed with other ones. I don't exactly know the full genetic lines. It's quite an interesting species to see how it's pushed its evolution through hybridization. That's not seen in sort of like many species. I think Myrmica is another species that also has that, where sort of Myrmica rubra and Myrmica ruginodis sometimes get a bit confused with each other, and various other sort of Myrmica. Maybe it's just a fire ant trait, but it's quite an interesting thing about the species, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say a friend of mine that lives in Florida has been catching Solenopsis invicta queens, and they keep getting out. And then he sent me a picture of a test tube setup he wanted to get to to house them, and it was this weird contraption, and I really don't know what it is. I'm actually see if I can find it and throw it up on the stream really quick. It was just really weird. But I was like, please don't buy that. Um, he was like, well, what's wrong with it? And I'm like, I wouldn't put my own queens in that thing. I don't know. I don't even know what that thing is. Like, um, so
It'd
we
certainly be interesting to see.
yeah, here it is. I found it. So it's this thing. I don't even know what this thing is. Like, Queen Starter Ant Nest 18 millimeter test tube kit. Like, what?
It's
What
not popped up on the stream, but
is it not popped up on the stream?
not from what I can see now. Oh, here we go. Yep.
There it is. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What on earth is that?
Yeah. I don't know what that is. Um, but for those who are listening, definitely check out the um definitely check out the video. Yeah, I don't know what that.
Antlers assemble.
Yeah, enters
It's
assemble.
kind of interesting. I mean, it looks like it creates a sort of test tube insert and
Yeah.
then sits the test tube on side. There's a lot going on that doesn't make much sense, to be honest.
Yeah, like I get that's the test tube right there, and then like
Hmm.
there's a is that like where the entrance is, where they screw on the topper? Like, is that where we're supposed to do the cotton tube? Like, where are you supposed to
That's
put
what
the
it looks
cotton?
like, yeah.
Yeah, where's
I think that stopper goes where the cotton would normally be, but
yeah,
yeah, it certainly doesn't make much sense.
yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go on to Etsy and actually take a look at that itself, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty weird. Um, but what we got going on. So next time on Formacast Past podcast, I can't say podcast right. Um, we are doing an interview with the man, the myth, the legend, Miles Maxer, May
That's gonna
22nd.
be awesome.
It's gonna be great. So it's gonna be next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, it's not going to be live, unfortunately. He wants to make sure that we get all of the interview questions that you guys, the community, have for him, which make sure you guys write in your questions on the Discord. So if you haven't yet, definitely go on there, which is interview questions. We got a couple of questions already. Um, so make sure you guys write in your questions. Go to the interview questions channel and write them in. And when I thumbs up them, that means they are accepted into the interview process. So make sure you guys do that. After that, we have an interview with Ants on the Rock, May 30th. I'm not sure if that's going to be live or not, but we will figure that out before then. And then,
He's such a cool dude.
yeah, which he knows he's actually really good friends with Collins, the founder of the Hive, which is we are a part of for this podcast. And so the next Ant Quest will be the following week after the interview with Ants on the Rock. So it's gonna be on let's see. So we got June 5th, 6th. June 5th, 6th. So we won't do next Ant Quest until the 14th because we're doing a panel on the 5th and the 6th of June. So after the panel on the 14th, we'll do another Ant Quest. We'll do a raffle for that one. I'll let you guys choose the next continent. But for the beginner's guide to ant keeping is going to be the topic for the June panel. So calling all ant keepers with experience / content creators, please DM myself or JB for to enter into the June panel episode, June 5th, June 6th, 2021. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. You want to go ahead and include your links, JB?
Yep, you can find me on YouTube, Ants and the Colonialist. But if you really want to get all the links, just head over to my website, which is thecolonialist.co.uk. And if you check out Our Colony, it has links to absolutely everything. And if you're a YouTube content creator or you have something related to ants, get in contact with me and I'll happily add you to the list. So
Awesome.
certainly check that out and you'll be able to find everything.
Cool. Sounds amazing. And for me, you guys can find me at all places at Formicast Podcast. I've even upgraded the Twitter account, which is actually now my personal Twitter, um, for the show because I've been following other stuff. I didn't want to make another Twitter, so I was just like, I'll just take the Formicast Twitter. So I'm on there. I'm on TikTok, on Instagram, and hopefully soon here with the website, I'll be able to do what JB does and just point it all to the good old website. So that'll take care of all that stuff. So that's
Yeah,
it
it
for.
certainly helps because it becomes the central hub of the colony.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that's all for this episode. We'll see you guys in a week for an episode with Miles Maxer. Make sure you get those questions in, folks. Don't forget. All right, that's it for today. Formcast out.
The Colonialist signing out.